but I still have my diamond. Nobody sees me with a cloud on my head. But I can feel it. It's circles I beg it.
Life at home growing up for me was a series of abuse. Both my mom and dad had severe problems with drugs and alcohol when I was growing up.
I didn't expect to hear such a powerful story.
It's actually like an incredible story.
It was very harsh to hear Patrick Sullivan's story.
I know I was brought to tears, and I'm sure a lot of other people were.
It honestly, it actually made me cry because I thought of my own family at the same age as him.
When I was 4 years old, my older brother, who was 14 at the time, started physically and sexually abusing me on practically a daily basis.
It was actually kind of disgusting to hear what a child had to go through and had to resort to.
Toronto being the only city I'd ever heard about or knew anything about, this is where I ended up. Bright lights, big city, Toronto, Ontario, 11 years old. Not much education, no hope for getting a job. 11-year-old homeless kids, they don't have a whole lot of options. So I got involved in street-level prostitution as a way to survive. There's an area in downtown Toronto called Boys Town, and that's where homeless male youth and homeless male kids are involved in street-level prostitution. As bizarre as this may sound, when I discovered Boys Town, for the first time in my life, I felt like I had some control. Because it was my choice if I got into that car. It was my choice if I had sex with the man driving that car. My brother and his friends and all the other men from outside of my house that forced me to have sex as a child, they never gave me that choice. And I got paid. Got paid for something people took from me most of my life. So I figured, what the hell? Next 7 years, my life kind of went on this big roller coaster. 11, 12 months on the street doing whatever it was I felt I needed to do to survive. Get picked up by the police, children's aid, go to a group home, foster home, juvenile jail, mental health facility, 5, 6 months at a time, till I could either run away or they would let me go. During my time on the street, which is a total of about 4.5 years, being gang raped, stabbed, shot at, beaten up, kidnapped, seeing people I loved and cared about become victims of murder, victims of suicide, lost a lot of friends to AIDS and other illnesses.
I'd like to look for 4 things. I'd like to look for the names of babies. I'd like to look for the names with a death year but not a birth year, what that might mean. I'd like to look for names in asterisks or quotation marks, what they might mean. I'd like to look for what's been happening up to 1997 and after 1997 in regards to HIV and AIDS education. So the names of babies, names of the death year but not a birth year, what that might mean.
Patrick led senior students on retreat throughout the city's streets of Toronto in order to illustrate the tragedy of the AIDS epidemic.
It's just hard to believe how from the age of like 4, he had such responsibility, he had to make so many choices.
One of my first memories is being about 3 years old, having my father come home from work at night. He would wake me up, take me out of my bed, he would put me in bed with my mom, he would put my head on her chest, and he would always say the same thing to me. Now remember, if mommy's heart stops beating or mommy stops breathing during the night, you need to come wake up daddy really, really quick, okay?
He's gone through so much just under the age of 18.
When I was 9 years old, I joined a men and boys choir in a local church. Very soon after joining the choir, I became really close to one of the men in the choir. This man became almost like a surrogate father. I didn't talk about what was going on in my house, but we'd go to baseball games and soccer games and hockey games. This man had a farm, so we'd spend weekends at his farm, and this man's mom was an incredible cook and really funny and really nice. So I spent a lot of time with this man's mom as well. One Sunday evening, just before I turned 11, this man was driving me home from Sunday evening church service. He said that before he could take me home, we had to stop off at his mother's apartment to pick up her mail and water her plants because she was on vacation for a couple of weeks in Florida. I didn't think anything of it, and for whatever reasons, that night this man ended up raping me. And that practically killed me. And not because of the fact that he did a whole lot of physical damage, but just the fact that somebody I could trust and respect and care about would do something like that to me.
It's harsh, and it's cruel, and it's sad, and it's enlightening, to say the least.
When I was 5, I learned that if I took one of my mom's pills, I could sleep for a couple of days. And to me, that was a good thing. Because when I was asleep, people couldn't hurt me. But as the abuse at home got more frequent and more violent, I started taking handfuls of pills, bottles of pills, and would end up in the hospital for weeks at a time. Hospital became my safe place. Food was okay, nurses were nice, and usually when I got back home, the abuse stopped for a while, but it always started again.
I have never met a man that strong. You have to be really strong to go through what he's gone through and still even be wanting to live. Like, I feel that were it me, I wouldn't be able to. It's something else.
When I was 32, Beat the Street hired me as a peer educator. Now, part of my job as a peer educator was talking to high school youth about the choices I made in my life and how they affected me. June 12th of 1998 was the day that changed my life forever. Not only was it the day that I graduated college, but it was also the very last day of the retreat program for the 1997-1998 school year for Bridges for Youth. It's 11:30 on a Wednesday morning, and I'm walking on Church Street on my way home. And I hear this man call my name. I hear this guy call my name. I turn around, and there's this man walking towards me, being followed by like 18 teenagers and a dog. Picks me up, gives me a hug, swings me around, it's like, "Patrick, you look amazing. What are you doing in September?" He gave me his business card, and he said, "Call me in September, I have a job here. Why don't you come work with me?" I was at Bridges Youth for 7 years. I became their program coordinator, and through the grace and love of God, I've been able to share my story with over 150,000 youth. Now, when I first started working at Bridges for Youth is located at Sanctuary. Through my work at Bridges for Youth, that's when I discovered the fact that I am loved, and I am valued, and I have a story to share. But through my connection to Sanctuary, that's when I discovered the fact that God loves me, and that God values me, and that not only did God give me this story, but God gave me the ability to share this story. Now, the day that I found that out, I had a coffee date with Greg Paul, who's the executive director of Sanctuary. He's also my mentor. And we were together for a couple hours, and I never talked about losing my job. I got a feeling that Greg wanted to talk to me about something, but he didn't say anything. So after a couple hours, we finished coffee, and I walked him back to Sanctuary. As I was giving him a hug goodbye, I went, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to be losing my job in June. I'm going to be unemployed. Can you pray about that?" Well, he took a couple steps back and just started laughing. He said, "Patrick," he said, "my goal for Sanctuary for this year is to hire 2 new people, and one of them is you. And I've been racking my brains for the past 2 hours wondering, how can I ask Lee Bridges Youth to come work at Sanctuary?" I joined staff at Sanctuary on August 1st, 2005, doing pastoral care and community care through drop-ins and outreach. But my main focus has always been on large group education. In January of 2010, when I came back to work, I just did nothing but my large group work. And I'm okay with that, because when I'm in Sanctuary now, I'm there because I want to be there, not because I'm being paid to be there. And my relationship with my community has never been stronger. And in September 2010, I started my own business. It's called Bridges Youth 2. And every single day that I wake up, I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I get to come to a job that I love to do, and I do well. I get to hang out with people that just absolutely blow me away because it doesn't matter whether it's the staff, the sanctuary, or my community that I'm hanging out with. Each and every person that comes through those doors has things happening in their life every single day, but they do some really phenomenal stuff. That's my life. Thank you for listening.
Soul searching now. You are my brother, and that doesn't change. Blood's thicker than water, but it blows.